Okay, let's try that again. Hello, everybody. Kim Coles here. Absolutely delighted to be with you today. I'm excited about today. I'm excited about every day. Actually, if you've been with me throughout this process, you know that I talk about really choosing joy and choosing and deciding every day to be a stand for joy and a stand for boldaciousness. And that means I'm excited every day, but I'm really excited for today because today I get to talk to you about something I always refer to as my jam. My jam is story. My jam is story, is storytelling, and my super jam is helping others reveal their story, see the genius in their story, see the gifts in their story. And sometimes people take their stories and turn them into books. Boom. I know I've done that. This is not even all my books. These are my collaborative books. These are my anthologies. I've had the great honor of being a visionary leader, a visionary author, leading, I think this is over 96 authors to becoming bestsellers. There's Open Your Gifts and Open Your Gifts 1, Open Your Gifts 2, Wisdom Gifts 1. There's another Wisdom Gifts, and there's one that's about to be released very soon. So I love helping other people take their story, find the gifts in their stories, find the lessons in their stories, so they can then, you know how I say it, become the ripple in the pond. Continue being the ripple in the pond of life, which really means boldaciously stepping into your gifts, boldaciously stepping into what you came here to do, really activating your mission and your purpose with passion. Okay, so in case you didn't know what, let me my list of words for boldacious, because I've had people say that. What does that mean, Kim Coles? What does boldacious living mean? It means stepping into the best version of yourself with no fear, or acknowledging the fear and paying attention to your future. You get to decide if you want to honor your fear or honor your future. I had a coach that taught me that many years ago, and I was like, I'm really scared of, I don't know what I'm going to do. No, what do you honor more, your fear or your future? And we know that fear will present itself, but you have to keep your focus on where you're going and what you're here to do, and get really rooted in what you're here to do. And I always say to, get out of your head and drop into your heart. And when you stay in that heart space, you get to be an impact for yourself and for others around you. So Boldacious is about being audacious and courageous and unapologetic and daring and fearless, honoring the fear and doing it anyway, unshakable and strong and powerful and unwavering in your faith that you are here to do, say, be, become, and touch others in a super duper powerful way. So that's the Boldacious spiel that I have for you that I really want you to step into. And today we're going to talk about unleashing your boldness to leave your legacy. In other words, and let me pull up my slides here. Hold, please. Unleashing your boldness to leave your legacy. It's about confidently sharing your stories and experiences to create a lasting impact. Now, as always, if you want the workbook, we have a workbook for you. Where's my workbook? Those, maybe you're just tuning in for the first time. Maybe you've been here all along. My workbooks, it's going to take up all the ink in your printer. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. It may take up all the ink in your printer, but that's why I also print it out in black and white so you can see it. And this is your companion guide for this entire experience that you can download. In fact, let me turn to my own day 3 because I follow the workbook too. You can just download it, and it's your companion guide. I have reflective questions. I have, what the lesson of the day is, and really wanted to create something for you that was really juicy and impactful and could really do amazing things for you, right? And so if you're not registered, excuse me, if you're not already registered, if you might be watching this on one of my other platforms, you may not be registered, and I want to get you registered so I can make sure you get that workbook. And I have follow-up nurturing and goodies that I'm going to be sending along the way. You just go to boldlivingchallenge.com, boldlivingchallenge.com, and in case you did or didn't know, there's also a VIP. Right after this session, we meet in the VIP room and I get a chance to do some live coaching with you, really deepen the work that we did today and learn more about you. All right. And do the work. And by the way, it's only $97 and I give you the $97 back as a credit to my other projects and workshops and all the things. So it's actually kind of free. It's free. So today we're going to talk about your story is your legacy. I talk a lot about legacy because I see it in us. I see your legacy in you. The life that you live right now is the beginning of your legacy. And if you are really tuned into, or if you'd like to get tuned into what you're here to do, from my perspective, because I told you story is my jam, your story is a great place to start. And so let's talk about that. I'm going to dive in because I got a lot to share with you today. Oh, there's the slide that says get the workbook. There's still time to join the VIP. That's the way you do it. We meet right after this. So there's that. So let's talk about the power of storytelling. Storytelling and legacy. You know, storytelling is actually built into our DNA. We as human beings love story. Before there was the written word, there was the oral story, oral traditions. We sat around the fire as our leaders and griots and elders of our tribes would share the history, share our history, share wisdom. I always say, share the wisdom of which berries in the field were good and which ones were poisonous and which ones were healing. They would tell us the stories of the warriors who had gone out and expanded the tribe in the ways that warriors expand tribes, and the great fights and the great migrations and all the things that we as people have in our experience. And it's in all of us. We are hardwired for story. We are hardwired to learn, teach, experience, resonate, and relate through the power of story, which is why it's so powerful. It's why Madison Avenue and everybody else who makes an ad uses story when they share their goods, products, and services. And if you are an author or wannabe author or aspiring author, if you are a speaker, an entrepreneur, if you are a visionary leader, you need to be sharing your stories. You need to be sharing your stories from a space of your wisdom, your journey, your experience, and then the lessons that you have for other people. And what happens is, because I just told you that people resonate with story, people will be magnetized to come into your world. People will buy your courses and your books. People will donate to your causes because you tell them the powerful story, the powerful cause for, EJ always says the word, I forget the word, the cause for action in other people's lives. This is how you create the ripple in the pond. And I always get this question up from, well, my story is too gruesome. I can't tell, how do I share my story without sharing on my business? As a story coach, that's one of my specialties, being able to help you craft a story in a way that moves, touches, and inspires others and inspires them to take an action in their life. And sometimes the action is to come and work with you. Stories create personal connection, and they do help you build a legacy. And as I've said many times in my travels in the world, and I in 2018, I visited Egypt, and I got very clear that we're still talking about people who lived 4, 5, 6,000 years ago, and their stories are etched in the tomb walls. They're etched in the walls of the Great Pyramid, which, if you haven't had a chance to go walk inside, climb inside, the Great Pyramid is unforgettable. I came out changed forever and really aware of the power of story and really aware of the power that I am here to share and that lives in each and every one of us. I'm not special, but I'm not special. Like, I'm special, but I'm not more special than anybody else. It's in every last one of us. And one of the quotes I shared on the first day, or the second day, I should say, was Marianne Williamson's quote about how your playing small doesn't serve the world. There's a light in you that is meant to come forth, and story is the perfect way to make it happen. Okay, back to my slides. So one of my favorite things to say, and I really live my life. This is I should say, one of my core beliefs. One of my core beliefs. Remember, I said on the first day that a belief is just a belief that you believe over and over. You say over and over and over again until it becomes part of you. And that, remember, I said that the truths, sometimes, beliefs are not truth. I happen to believe that in my life, this is a truth because I've seen it play out over and over and over again. Everything that has happened to you has actually happened for you. Boom. Mic drop. Love bomb. Braingasm. Take that on again. What if everything that has happened to you, the yummy and the yucky, what if everything that has happened to you has happened for you? And the end of that sentence for me is, what if it's happened for you to help, heal, serve, share, transform your life, and then in turn transform other people's lives? So when I look at that through the perspective, through that lensing, if I now know that every divorce I went through, and I went through two, every yucky experience, and we know what those yucky experiences are. Anytime I was hurt or disappointed or betrayed, and I've had a whole lot of that and still choose to be joyful, and you can too. Everything that has happened that's been like awful and weird, and how am I going to figure this out, happened for me because I needed that to grow. I needed that to unlock some gifts. Just like I've shared with you all that after living single ended and woo, I went into a deep depression because that experience was so good. I didn't think that anything could ever match it. That's the story I was telling myself. Well, I'm done. I'm done. I've reached the pinnacle. It's as good as it's going to get. And as great as that show was, that means I was thinking small. Any success that you've had, any experience that you have had that was awesome. So we talked about the yucky. Now we talk about the yummy experience. Whatever award you've ever achieved, whatever raise you ever got, the time that you won a lawsuit, fill in the blank, the time that you're just short of you having some children. I don't care what experience you've ever had, to think that that's as good as it's going to get, it's kind of lack limitation thinking. Because the sky is the limit. Again, like I said, short of having children. I've never had children, but I can imagine if I had kids, that would be the best thing I could do, that actually brought life forth. That's probably the best thing you could do. Short of that, I don't care what success you've ever had, you're just getting started. There is more to have, more to be, do, and have. And if I believe that living single was the pinnacle, then of course I'm going to get depressed. I'm just getting started. Once I went through that experience, I realized, oh, I'm just getting started. How can I use my gifts, talents, and abilities? And how can you do that? And so if you take nothing from this presentation today, is that perspective of, what if everything that's ever happened in my life happened because I was supposed to go through that and then come through that and then live to tell the story? I'm sassy today. All right, let's keep going. So what will be required, or the price of admission in sharing your story, is facing the fear. And it's just fear. I had my very first coach always used to say to me, like, Kim, there's no more monsters under the bed. Like, you've dealt with all the monsters. There's no more monsters under the bed. Like, just shine a light in the corners of all the darkness. And it takes work, and that can be, scary. I have no trust. Ask me how I know that exposing your fears, exposing your shadow side, shining the light where the light hasn't been already. It's tough, but it's required. It's the price of admission. What's on the other side is more light. And what's on the other side is you get to now be a lighthouse for others. And that's what we're talking about. You have to embrace your vulnerability. Just like take it on. Like, I see you. I see you. I see you, and I have power over you. And you're here to teach me something. So let's co-create. This is ugly. This is dark. This is uncomfortable. That was jacked up situation that happened, but I cannot allow that to have power over me, because that is also part of the lack and limitation thinking. When you are authentic and when you share your true self, and again, There's a way to share your stuff without sharing all your business. I know that we worry about, well, everybody's going to know. And sometimes our stories would expose other people and their foolishness, right? I get that. But there are ways and elegant ways to share your story because you're keeping your eye on the prize. And the prize is the ripple in the pond that you're here to create, the other people that you will help, that been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and come on along and let me show you how to go from striving to thriving. I hope this is landing with you all. Let me know in the comments how you feel. I'll go back and read the comments later. Really want to stay focused. So you share your story effectively. And I'm going to share some ways. Let me just look at the next slide and see. Let me do this. It's important to share your story effectively. Like I said, I love to coach people on how to share their story in a way that doesn't, if you don't want to share all your business, you don't have to. And the truth is, the audience wants to resonate with you. And so going to the depths of the pain that you experienced, unless you are adept at bringing the audience, bringing your customer, bringing your client, being the listener to your story back to at least to an even place. If you're not adept at doing that, then you leave people pitying you and uninspired rather than where you really want them to land, which is in their own transformation. So practicing your talks, practicing your story. And by the way, from my perspective, sharing your story is for everyone in every realm that you're in, and in particular, helpful and necessary if you're an entrepreneur, speaker, author, coach, visionary leader, thought leader. We need to know the why, the how you figured it all out so that we can then come to you to be taught how to figure it out ourselves, or how you can assist us in figuring it out. So that's the lensing I'm looking at this through, is knowing your stories, accepting your stories, and then using your stories to further your business and your brand, if you have one. And if you're an author, speaker, coach, thought leader, you need that in place in order to be the most effective and stand out in the world. So I'm going to just share these really quickly, and then I have a whole other slide deck I built for y'all that I'm actually going to give you some of my 40 years experience tips in sharing your stories. So I've been in this business. I've been in the business of show for 40 years. I'm 62 years old, and I started telling stories even way before then. I became a comedian in high school, not knowing that that was going to end up becoming the way I was going to make my living. I've been sharing stories and sharing funny stories and sharing perspective on things for a very long time, but 40 years professionally. So let me just share some of these tips, these strategies for sharing your story really effectively. And then we're going to jump into like some really meat so that you leave here with some how to craft your story. So one of the things is to be vulnerable. One of the notes I've been seeing as I look at the comments, like, Kim, thank you for being transparent. Thank you for being vulnerable. And vulnerable doesn't mean being weak. It just means share your emotion, share your authentic self, share with people what you've experienced, because people need to see that they're not the only one. There are people going through uncomfortable situations and in uncomfortable places and in, how I want to say, despair. And they think that they're the only one. Well, when you share what you've overcome and become in a very vulnerable and open and authentic and transparent way, you get to be a beacon of light for others, and people get to go, oh, thank God I'm not the only one. Have you ever had that moment where you were talking to someone and they shared something with you they were going through, and you're like, you too? Oh, thank God. I'm not the only one. Oh, there's something that we as human beings, we need to go, I'm not the only one. I'm not alone. Thank you for sharing, because I get to now have that perspective that there is hope. Have the perspective that it's possible to overcome and become the best version of yourself. Ask questions. And I say here, ask your audience, because I'm speaking to you, especially if you are, like I said, an entrepreneur or business owner or visionary leader. Speak to your people. I like to call my audience my soulmate clients. So you could interchange the word audience with your soulmate client, or interchange audience with your peeps. Invite them to share their own thoughts and experiences to make it interactive when you share your story. So depending on the platform that you're on, I'm going to be asking you some questions during this presentation because I want you to see yourself sharing your story, and it gets them engaged. And these, like I said, are just 5 of the tips I wanted to share with you. There's many, many more. Use visuals. I'm going to tell you a story in a little bit where I'm going to color in. Now I've got visual. I've literally got slides. I don't know why I have glasses and those little candies, little Valentine candies. I don't know why, but visuals. You give people a visual, either physically, like I am on these slides, or an emotional visual. How do I want to say it? A visual that you create in the words that you use. I'm going to be sharing a story in a little bit, and I could just tell the story, just the facts, ma'am, or I can color it in for you so that you're there with me in the room, because I want you there with me in the room, because that means that I'm not alone. That means that I see my experiences as experiences that you possibly have had too. There's a phrase, I think this is based in spirituality, that there's only one of us here. We think that we're all very different, and that we are, and we are unique, and we come in different packages and sizes and colors and belief systems and all of the things. And in the end, there's only one heart. We all have the same heart. We all want the same things. So use visuals as you, or visual or imagery to color in the vibe of your story. Okay. And follow a clear storyline. I'm going to share some of that with you in a bit. Actually, that's one of my specialties. I have a proprietary system that I can help you take your story, plug in this template, and you will kick out a perfect story every time. Because people sometimes don't know where to begin, where to end. I can help you do that. And I'm going to share some of that with you in just a minute. Have a beginning, middle, and end. And then you show your growth or change. You take people on a journey and take people on the journey with you. And there's something called a call to action. And if you're in business, you know this. The call to action is upgrade to VIP. The call to action is put in the chat what you thought about what your takeaway is for the session. A call to action is click like, share, subscribe. Call to action is follow me for more content like this. A call to action is let's pray. A call to action is let us pray. A call to action is send me an email so I can share with you how I can help you more. A call to action is all of that. You're invoking your audience, your soulmate client, the person who's listening to your story, to take an action after they've heard your story. What did you think of that? Is a call to action. Buy my course is an action. Of course, you're going to do it much more eloquently and elegantly than that. But it's the getting people engaged and getting people to stay engaged, whether it's on social media, whether it's in person. When I speak on stage, I engage my audience by having little miniature call to actions along the way. Sometimes the call to action is just to go within. Sometimes the call to action is listen carefully. I'm about to say something really, really good. Sometimes the call to action is meet me at the back of the room because I've got a solution to the problem I know that you have, and I'm going to help you with that. So that's just a little dose of that. So before I get to the radiant reflections, let me go to this other slide deck I have. What? I'm working slide decks up in this piece. I'm making myself laugh. So let me take a sip of water if I may. Let me give you a call to action right now. Go to the comments and tell me what you're thinking of this presentation. Is there anything that's popping up? Are you thinking of a story that you could share with others? Are you thinking of a story that you know if you told that story, you would make a difference in the world? By the way, whenever people talk about making a difference in the world is big, right? The world is super duper, 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 duper big. And that can be intimidating people. Like, what do you mean I'm going to tell my story to the world? I mean, tell the story in your world, which is still big because you've got people that you impact, people in your inner circle, people in your middle-sized circle, people in your outer circle. And like I said, the work that we're about is making a ripple in the pond so you can smile and share a story with someone that will make such a difference in their life that they go off and their lives are changed. I'll give you a small and big example. Our girl, Erica Alexander, who played Maxine Shaw, attorney at law on Living Single. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, I went to law school because of Maxine Shaw. She made it possible, meaning she was a visual a reminder that this was possible for me. I was a little girl watching her. I went to law school later on. I know how many times I've heard it. I can't imagine how many times Erica herself has heard it. It's the Maxine Shaw effect. And now there's a website and there's a whole, a movement around celebrating the impact of this character that was written by Yvette Lee Bowser. She made a ripple in the pond. Played by Erica Alexander. She made a ripple in the pond. And we all got to interact with her as friends in real life and as friends on a TV show, Living Single. And the Maxine Shaw effect is still available. And I'm not going to get political, but I will say that I saw a picture on her Instagram, a picture with her and Kamala Harris. And it is said that Kamala Harris says, you affected me. What? That's powerful. I'm not trying to get political. I'm just telling you what the picture said. So the work that you do, your world can be your world. And you have no idea how that ripple effect can continue. Right. That wasn't the story I was planning on telling, but that's what the divine told me to share. So how do you find your stories? I always like to say you hunt and gather your own experiences, your own life. And don't tell me, Kim Coles, I don't have any stories. Nope. I think about the age about 7 or 8. After 7 or 8, you got a whole bunch of stories you could tell. They'd be different if you're 7 or 8 than if you're 67 or 68, right? But you go and hunt and gather in your life. And this is one of the things I love doing when I work with my clients. I help you find the stories that are the impactful stories that will move the needle for you and for others as well. And so what you're up to is crafting your unique stories. And one of the steps, I'll give you some steps here that you can actually work with, that you can leave this session with and like do a little digging, hunt and gather in your life. Identify the main point or theme that you want to create in your story. This is a really nice way to get started. So when I plan a talk, when I get hired to speak, I have a talk with the organizers. I go like, who's your audience and what do they need most? And I start there. What's the main point or theme that I want to convey with the story? And I reflect on my values. This is what you'll do. You reflect on your personal values, your passions. You uncover a core message. And I'm going to share with you right now what some core messages are that will help you think about some stories that you can use, right? You reflect on your own life, your own value, your own experiences, and you come up with what I like to call life themes. So forgive me, this slide is a little off. That actually says life themes, not life hymns. But look at these themes. I want you to look at this list of themes. And what's important to note is that these are universal themes. No matter where you're from, no matter where you live, no matter how you grew up, these themes show up over and over and over again in life. There's good versus evil, courage, friendship, belonging, identity, permission, beating the odds, coming of age, freedom, fear, faith, fate. Fear of failure. Just look at this whole list. Heroes, innocence lost, honesty, justice, love, hate. All of these are life themes, general cores that show up everywhere in life. And this is just a list. I'm sure there's many, many more, but these are themes that show up over and over again. Good versus evil shows up over and over and over again. And I want you to think right now in your life, do you have some stories that fit these themes, that specifically fit these themes? I'm going to actually take a little peek at the comments, or I'll come back and look later and really pay attention, right? Are there some themes, right, that show up over and over and over again? I'll be transparent. I'll share with you a theme that shows up for me over and over again: belonging. I mentioned it on the first day. Who am I to be making this much money on a TV show and I haven't finished college, but my parents have advanced degrees, highly educated. Like I'm earning more money than my parents who have earned their degrees and fought to go to school, right? Right? Belonging. I'm a little weird. I was just telling EJ the other day story that I haven't activated these stories of me being bullied as a young girl because I was kind of different. I was kind of weird. I was kind of I spoke. Look, my father spoke the King's English, and my mother does too. And so I grew up in a household where we spoke succinctly and we spoke well. And my father was a wordsmith. So when I'm hanging out in Brooklyn, the way I spoke was like, "Good morning, everyone." Like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you talking like that?" I was, to them, I was weird or different or trying to be something I wasn't. I was just mirroring what my parents had taught me to be like. I was sort of an introverted kid, super thoughtful. I lived in my head all the time. Plus, I'm a Capricorn. Capricorns are old when they're young, and they get young as they get older. I was an old lady. Plus, I went to private school, and so my clothes I wore on the weekends were not really particularly fancy because I wore a uniform all the time. Like my parents didn't buy me like hip clothes. I wasn't wearing hip 70s clothes. It was like, just put that on. Come on, let's go to the park. So I got teased a lot. And I got bullied, and I'll start telling those stories at some point because they resonate with others, right? And yet still I rise, and still you rise. So belonging is one for me. So take a look at this list and tell me if any of these resonate with you. Beating the odds. I see somebody here. Yeah. There's stories of anger and how anger affected you in your life. And maybe it's not your story of you being angry, but stories of people, anger, you seeing the how do I want to say, the effects of anger in your life, right? Okay. So we take a look at those themes, and then we tell a story through that perspective. I'm going to tell a story in just a moment through that perspective. And then what you look for something I call the transformational snapshots. It's like the choo. Remember when cameras made that sound? Choo, choo. It's just a snapshot in your life. It's just a moment in your life that is the moment that you've a lesson, and a moment that when the moment was over, you felt transformed in some way. Or maybe you made a declaration, I will never, or I will always, it's a declaration of some kind. I'll never be poor again. I'll never be broke again. I'll never get married again. I will always exercise, right? I will always say my affirmations before going to bed. Something happened in your life and you go like, ooh, a difference has happened. And from now on, I am transformed. That was the day that maybe there was a great fire and it was a transformational moment where you and your family lost everything and you had to go move into a little beat up hotel. It was a transformative moment. And you can connect that moment to why you work so hard to this day, because you never want to be broke and homeless again, whatever that is for you. Transformational snapshots, because the transformational snapshot, holding my little camera here. The transformational snapshot will relate to one of these themes that you have here. Okay. And that's where you craft your story from that moment. There it is. Select transformational moments from your life experiences that have contributed to significant personal or professional growth. Because if there's one of us here, there are other people having that same experience and want to hear how you overcame and became transformed. How did you overcome and then become transformed? Move to a new level, right? These are the things you do. You take your story and you run it through this. This is not just telling a story willy-nilly. It's being very intentional in the way you share your story, especially if you're here to move to be the ripple in the pond. And you craft that core story, And you see how this little image here is about you, and you fill in all the blanks. You fill in all the color of the where and the when and the how and the what. And you don't have to go on and on and on to the break of dawn when sharing your story. You're sharing the story because you have a transformational snapshot. You have a solution for others. If I tell you this story, it will help you understand the ways that you no longer have to suffer. If I tell you this story, then you will understand that you're not the only one who's come through something like this, and there's hope for you. If I tell you this story, you will see yourself in me, and you will buy my book and it will help you, or you'll take my course and it will move you along in your journey so you get to become the ripple in the pond. Do you see how this works? It's you sharing your story with the intention of helping others. So I told you a little while ago I was going to share a story with you, and I have one. Hold on just a second. The air conditioning's on. It's making my nose run. Hold, please. So I'm going to share a story. It's going to sound like it's a story about me and Oprah. Yeah, me and Oprah. But it's actually a story about you too. So remember I told you that I have a thing about belonging. And so this is the theme that I chose for this story. So here we go. So many, many years ago when Oprah decided to start her own network, one of the shows that she bought was a game show. And it came and it went real, real fast. It got canceled right away. It didn't work. But I was hired to be one of the co-hosts on her show. And they told us one day they told us on a Friday that Oprah was coming to the set on Monday. So I got hired by her and her team, but I hadn't met her yet. We began rehearsals and it was a gorgeous set. And they said, she's coming to the set on Monday. And so I spent the entire weekend getting ready to meet Oprah. And, you know, Oprah is powerful and my new boss, and I wanted to impress her, even though I already had the job. I was like, I really want to impress Oprah and I really want to be amazing. And so I spent the entire weekend preparing to meet Oprah. And I thought that meant that I needed to be spiritually aware. So I remember reading all the spiritual texts I could get my hands on, right? And I remember meditating and burning oil and incense and, you know, all the things, everything, and praying and you know, affirming and just being I wanted to be an empty vessel of joy and light to meet Oprah. I fasted. I didn't eat a thing. I wanted to be an empty vessel of joy and light when I met Oprah Winfrey. I remember burning so much sage and amber and frankincense and myrrh. I think my neighbors thought there was a fire happening in the house. Like, oh, Kim Coles, are you all right in there? Yes, I'm getting ready to meet Oprah. I was preparing. Monday came. They told us she was coming to the set about 11 o'clock. 10:30, I was ready, an empty vessel of joy and light, ready to meet Oprah. 10:30, 10:45, at 11 o'clock, ooh, is Oprah here yet? Oh, no, she's not. Oh, she's going to come late. Okay, no problem. I'm going to still stay in the vibe, stay in the intention, stay in the moment of preparing to meet Oprah. Yes. 12 o'clock came. They said, oh, she's still running late. She's still running late. No problem. I'm going to keep this on. I'm not going to let anything stop me from being an empty vessel of joy and light, ready to meet Oprah. Then 1 o'clock came. Then 2 o'clock came. And then about 3 o'clock, I was like, I'm sick of being an empty vessel of joy and light. I'm hungry. And I've always said that one of the best things about show business is the free food. There's always a craft services area. In case you didn't know, that's what we call it, craft services. There's always little snacks, and the craft service guy made some hot quesadillas. And I don't even like Mexican food like that, but I was like, I'm hungry. Give me some of that cheese. And I took it and I was eating, like, finally, okay, I don't know when she's coming, but I'm hungry. And we had turned off all the lights on the set because, like, we don't know when she's coming. What's the purpose of wasting energy? All of a sudden, the lights came on. And I looked up and I realized the lights were not really on. It was Oprah entering the building. Oh, Oprah's arrived. Oprah's here. In this moment, I can tell you, I have no idea what came over me. I, to this day, have no idea what happened to the quesadilla. I think my team, because I had a whole team of, makeup artists and hairstylists and all the people. I think someone came and said, give me the quesadilla, Oprah's here. I heard someone say, Oprah's here. I was like, Oprah's here. Oh, there she is, Oprah's here. I think I wiped my hand on my pants. I lost myself. Here's Oprah walking towards me. Kim, like, oh, I blank. What? And the reason why I say the lights came on is because she carries her own light. I felt it, I saw it, I experienced it, the energy of her as she was coming to visit the set that she had arranged for to happen. I felt it. I promise you I did. Because I lost myself and I didn't know what to say, all I could say to her was I looked at her and I went, yay! I literally said, yay, to Oprah Winfrey, my new boss, all the things, all the empty vessel of joy out the window, yay! And this is the moment that I saw her look at me, and I could tell she didn't know quite what to respond to that. And it wasn't unkind. It wasn't like judgmental. It was just, oh, okay. Is this girl a little slow? Is she all right? There was an energy of like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. What's going on? And I could see the moment that she downloaded the proper response. And the way I love to language is like, I love sci-fi, and there's always a Borg or like an alien creature in the movie who's reading the human being, and you can see the readout from their perspective. It's like, does not compute. This human is crazy. I don't know how to respond to this. And I could see the moment that she decided how she was going to respond to me. And she looked me dead in the eye and she went, yay! True story. True story. Yay! Like she met me where I was. Like, I don't know how to talk to somebody who's just going to go, yay! So I'm just going to go, yay! I'm going to speak to her in her language. That was the thing that snapped me back into myself. That was the moment that I was like, oh gosh, this is really real. And how kind of her to not fire me on the spot and think like, this girl's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Let's get her out of here. She saw me and met me where I was. True story. And then in that moment, we were able to sit and talk, and we had some photos. And yeah, the show got canceled, but I hope that's not my fault, right? It's a true story. But when I now go back and share with you what I just shared with you, because I'm going to now give you the behind the scenes of what just happened. If I told you very vulnerably and very transparently that I, Kim Coles, have always had issues around belonging. Do I belong here? Is this the place to be? Even though I've been hired or put in places or given opportunities. There's another story that had been and has been and has run in my life that I work all the time to transform. By choosing joy all the time. I'm a work in progress like we all are. Do I belong here? Am I enough? Am I funny enough? Am I good enough? Do I belong here? Even though I'd already gotten hired for the job, I'm still like, I need to be different in order for Oprah to fall in love with me. She already did. She gave me the job. But yet I had doubts. And in that moment, the lesson for me was to remove doubt, to stand in my inner knowing that I belong in every room that I'm in. And if I needed a confirmation, Oprah herself was going to give it to me. And there's also another lesson that's here, a lesson of being kind enough. And I joke when I go that she could have gone, crazy girl, get her out of here. But the truth is she could have gone like, what? She met me with compassion. She met me with, I don't know how to talk to you, but maybe if I talk in your language, then we're going to get on the same page. She met me with no judgment and with compassion and with love. And from her heart space, she probably felt like, I get this all the time. People are weird around me. Let's just make it unweird. And it was compassion and non-judgment and very generous of her to be that way. I got a chance to experience that. And I will say that although I had been out in the public eye for many, many years, I got the job. This is long after Living Single was over. And I've experienced people coming up to me and having their yay moment. And it was a moment like this that reminded me to always stay grounded and see people where they are and see the divine in each and every one of you. So this is a story that I get to share on stages as a comedian, on stages as a speaker, and then I connect it to a lesson that helps people who in the audience may feel like I also have that same fear. I also have that same doubt. Do I really belong? And then if I am the entrepreneur that I think I am, my job is to now create goods and products and services that support that lesson. So if you need help with becoming less or becoming stronger, I should say, in your belongingness, in your divine belongingness, if you're here, then you're meant to be here, then I may have a solution for you. And so do you see how your stories can be taken and created into ways of making transformation for others through making your gifts and products and services and books and courses and speaking engagements and everything? The sky is the limit. And so I want you to look in your life for those transformational snapshots. The moment, this transformational snapshot for this moment is the moment I remembered that I do belong. And I don't have to be anything other than who I am. I didn't have to spend a whole weekend being hungry and being outside of myself to step back into myself and go, I belong here. And never mind, the show didn't last. Like I said, I don't think that was my fault. She decided to go in a different direction with her network. This is when the OWN network first launched. But I get to have that experience. I get to share with other people and reflect to you how belongingness showed up for me, or feeling that I don't belong showed up for me, and how you could say this, I manifested that situation so I could be reminded that I belong in every room. And I can tell you that you belong in every room that you're already in, and every room that you want to be in. You belong there. You are needed there. Your unique gifts and talents will make room for you. And people are waiting for you to share your stories, share your gifts, talents, and abilities so they can see that exists in them and that they get to now be the ripple in the pond. I hope this is making sense for you. So what's your story? What's your story? You know how Sam Jackson says, what's in your wallet? I hope that was helpful for you. What do I want to do here? I want to do this. I want to come back to you. So let me go back to the other presentation and ask you, what are some of your radiant reflections? This is the call to action. You know, you can choose 3 fears or insecurities that prevent you from sharing your stories and experiences. What will people think? There might be some people who think, ooh, that happened to you? Ew. But there will be more people who will be like, ooh, that happened to you? Show me how you overcame that. Please help me. Please help me go from the state I'm in to the state I want to be in, like you. I always get the divine hit to say this too, and this was so helpful for me. And again, this might be one of those things that if you took only this away from this presentation, I would be all right. You don't have to be at the top of the mountaintop. You don't have to be the guru on the top of the mountaintop who's figured it all out. You just need to figure out what you need to figure out, and you can be 5 minutes ahead of your audience. You can be 5 minutes ahead of the people that you want to teach and inspire. 5 minutes, 5 steps, 5 paces, a minute or two. You just have to have figured out this piece, so then you could teach people this piece so they can get to this piece. Does that make sense? You know, the mistake that I made in the beginning when I was the misaligned thinking, or the mindset that I had was like, I don't have it all figured out, but I got this much figured out. I got this much figured out. That means everybody who's right here, and I don't mean below me, but everybody who's looking for this much knowledge, I can get you right here. And I'm going to keep working on myself and get myself here. And then I'm going to bring all these people up here. And then I'm going to keep working on myself and get myself here, or so high that you can't even see my hand on top over the screen. So please do not think that you have to have it all figured out. You don't have to have it all figured out in order to share your story, share your wisdom, share how you want to serve the world. Figured out this much, and then get all these people here. Again, I don't mean people below you. I mean people who need the knowledge to get them here. And then you elevate and learn more and become the next version of yourself, and then you get to bring all them people with you here. Do not think you have to have it all figured out. You've figured out a lot already, and you must share your knowledge, your wisdom, and your gifts and talents. So here are radiant reflections. How can you infuse authenticity into your storytelling? And what platforms? This question is about, where do you want to share your stories? Is it, is your audience or the people you want to influence? Are they on social media? Are they on, nonprofit organizations? Are they, where are your people? That's always a thing that I know that people are looking for. That's one of the key aspects to building a business, building a stronger business, building a stronger brand that I think people want help with. By the way, I'm going to share with you in just a moment how I can help you do that. I love helping people do that. So in just a moment, if it's all right with you, I'd love to share with you how we can work together, and I can help you fine tune that in a beautiful way. I love doing this work. I love being an actress, but I love doing this work because it gets to be me and you in a room. So think about I'll take that back. This is a call to action. You're not going to think about it, although thinking is an action. You're going to get in action, and maybe you write blog posts, or maybe you write a social media a post or something. Share a little video about a story about or an experience, and just put it out in the world and see what people think about it. See how people respond. I would say like I said before, have a call to action at the end. If this resonated with you, put it in the comments. If you'd like to know more about the book I've written, because we have several authors in this experience. If you want to know more about the book I've written, and can share with you how we can help, I can help you overcome this, then click the link and go to my Amazon page and get my book. Whatever it is for you, share, right? Share your story with at least one person. Maybe you got a bestie, like, I don't know if I want to put this out in the world, so I'm gonna share this with you. What you think? And begin sharing your journey and leaving your legacy through the power of storytelling. Share with me your ahas and your oh snaps, people. What are your ahas and your oh snaps? I'm going to take a little sip of tea while I prepare to share something with you. So, what if I told you that I've created a way for us to be able to work together so that I can help you do all the things we've done so far in the challenge? Now, by the way, this challenge is going on. This is just day 3? It's day 3. I've got 2 more days, Thursday and Friday. I come live. As a reminder, the replays come down if you're general admission. If you are VIP, don't forget there's still time to join the VIP. And I meet you right after this. Right after this, I take a little bio break. I know you might need a bio break, and then we're going to take this work and go a little bit deeper. All right. There's still time to join the VIP, and our team will get you in there. And I have a way for us to work together even more powerfully. And with your permission, I would like to share that with you. And this is the part of the presentation. Like I said, we've got 2 more days together. And by the way, we actually have so because I'm not good at secrets, my own secrets. So I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm gonna do another day. I'm gonna do Saturday. I'll do a beautiful recap. So if you've missed any of this, or if any of the replays came down because you're general admission, I know my VIPs get to keep their recordings for a lifetime, and I have other goodies I give you too. But I'm gonna come back on Saturday, so you actually get 3 more days with me. I can't keep the secret. I'm supposed to hold that like, okay, this is goodbye, good night. Wait a minute, Saturday. I'm doing this again on Saturday. I'll do a really nice recap for everyone. So that's happening. So we got 3 more days together. But I wanted to share with you right now, in case this has been already transformational, and in case you're like, Kim Coles, how could I work with you and go further? So with your permission, I'd love to share with you how we could work together even further. I don't know if I could share my screen that way. So let me just do that. So I've got 2 experiences I want to share with you. I didn't save that. Did I save that? I'm working solo today. I'm working solo. I don't think I can share my screen. I don't know if I can. Let me come back to you here. So when you go to this page I've just put up on the screen here, boldlivingchallenge.com/virtual, you will see, I wonder if I can share this. Share screen. What? You may see a screen that's full of open tabs. Can you see that screen? So I've got a live event called the Boldacious Brilliance Live Event. I love to name things. There it is. The Boldacious Brilliance Live Event. Why am I saying it like that? Why? Why? And let me explain to you what this is. It's a one-day event. It's November 14th. Where virtually we meet again, but we spend one whole day together going deeper on everything that we've talked about in this challenge. This is for you if you are an author, aspiring author, or already an established author. If you're a speaker, a coach, if you're a visionary leader, if you aspire to step into the thought leadership that you feel in your soul, you're here to do something special. And you are. You may be aware of it. And so I'd like to shine a light on it that yes, you are here to share your gift with the world, like I say. And if you want to break through the noise and really establish clarity around what it is, clarity and vision and action around what it is you're here to do, then this is what I'd like to share with you. So it's a one-day event, live and virtual, where you will we'll break down the stories, we'll get you just in alignment on the clarity, the confidence, and the strategic roadmap to achieve your goals. We're going to talk about Zone of Genius tomorrow briefly, but on this day, excuse me, on this day, we will dive deeply into your zone of genius, that gifting that you're here to bring with the world, and will help you craft your story with what I like to call story and heart. So we're going to talk about mindset mastery. So we're going to really dive deeper in that whole piece of shifting those limiting beliefs, shifting the mindset to a place of abundance and a place of possibility and the place of yes and. Yes and is a tool that we use when we do improv. If you watch improvers, there's never a no. If I say, hey, would you like this cheese quesadilla? You go, yes. And I hope that Oprah walks in the room and finish eating my sandwich or whatever it is. It's the yes and perspective on life. Excuse me, that you get to say yes to what you want, and then you get to build and grow and have as much as you want. So we get really dialed in on that mindset mastery, that you are the one you've been waiting for, and you are the one that your audience has been waiting for. And speaking of audience, we'll get you dialed in on who is your who. There's a reason why you're here. You're my who. That sounds like bad English. You're my peeps. You're my people. You're here because something I said or did or, shared an experience with you resonated enough with you to say, oh, I'm going to hang out with Kim Coles a little bit. Well, I'm giving you an opportunity to hang out with Kim Coles a lot. And in a moment, I have a way for us to hang out even more. We'll get to that. But getting dialed in on who is your who, so that you speak the language of the people that you want to impact the most. And identifying that is key. There's a reason why it's so funny to me that the VIP, all of the VIPs, most of the VIPs are actually authors or aspiring authors. Well, that's because that's the language of it. That's the message I've been putting out. And so those people are coming in. Most of the people in the VIP are visionary leaders and have platforms that they're building. And if you're one of those people, then this is you're my people. You're my soulmate client. You're up to big things and you're ready to step into it. And I help you define that for you so that you can speak to those people and bring those into your world. We're going to unlock what I like to call your boldacious brilliance, your zone of genius, your unique gifts, really get you dialed in like this is my jam. You know how I said at the beginning, story is my jam. I want you to feel that way about your purpose on the planet. Like that's my jam. And often, it's amazing to me. It's the thing that you do without even thinking. It's the thing that you do without even thinking or breathing. It's ease. You don't have to go finding your purpose, looking for your purpose. You just look within because it's already there. We're going to unlock that and shine a light on that. And I'll show you the ways that you can use it to make changes, not only in your world, but in the world of others. And then we're going to dive into the authentic storytelling piece where I will share with you the proprietary system I have in place for unlocking your story, getting stories out of you and into the world, and crafted in a way that resonate for you beautifully, really drop into your heart like this feels good for me. And then it really feels good for the soulmate client that you will attract in. You see how I've put this all together so that you get clear on your mindset and why you're going to do what you're going to do and why you need to be doing what you need to be doing so powerfully, and get fear out of the way so that you can get your faith up front. Get fear off to the side. Thank you very much, fear. Appreciate you. Off to the side you go so that your future can be illuminated right now. Get you clear on who it is you want to work with, get you clear on how you're going to work with them, and get clear on the messaging and the way to reach them. And that's a whole day experience virtually November 14th. Of course, you'll get the replays. Of course, you get all those goodies. And I will send to your house a swag box of goodies, because I like to give goodies, because I like gifts. It's not my first love language, but it's up there. It's probably my third one. I like gifts. So I'll make sure I send you gifts, and of course, workbook and everything you need. You will leave that day with a clear-cut roadmap on what to say, how to say it, who to say it to, and have an outline for all of your messaging, for all of your marketing messaging. That's the genius of this. Once you create all this, you'll then know how to talk to people. You'll know how to get booked on speaking engagements, because you'll know what to say and how to say it so that you magnetize clients to you. Okay? That's that piece. And it's only $197 to spend a whole day with me, November 14th, in the Boldacious Brilliance live virtual. I'm excited about this. I'm super excited about this. By the way, my VIPs, you remember that the $97 that you paid to be a part of a VIP can be applied against this. Absolutely. We'll show you how to put your credit in. In fact, if you're one of the VIPs and you want to say yes to this, don't get this yet, because we have to give you a coupon to make that happen. Mindset Mastery, Who is Your Who, Unlock Your Boldacious Brilliance, and how to tell your story with soul, with heart and soul. You will leave there with the pieces that you need in order to go out in the world and shine the way you are meant to shine. That's part one. Oh, but wait, there's more. Oh, but wait, there is more. Let me come back and let me stop sharing this piece. Oh, please. How do I stop sharing? Oh, I think I did. So there's another version of this I wanted to share. And with your permission, I would like to share that. For those of you who want even a little bit more help, for those of you who want, okay, that was nice, Kim, and I could say yes to that. I've got something else for you where we can actually, how do I want to say this? You will have the virtual experience, but you will also have a live in-person experience with me. This gets exciting. Hold, please, let me find the page. How do I share the page? Hang on. No, that's that. Hang on, give me just a second. I'm working so low. Okay, now I'm going to share this with you. So let's say you're like, Kim Coles, that's fine, but how do I implement all of this? How do I put all of this, get this, out of my head and onto the paper and then on to the world stage? And the way you do that is you say yes to the VIP experience. So why don't we meet November 14th and 15th, live and in person in the Raleigh-Durham area? There's a gorgeous studio there that I just visited. Lights, camera, action. So that means that you will get all of the training that you'll get on that first day. Plus, we will actually spend 8 weeks before we meet in person to get you really ready, to get your presentation ready. And you will leave that day with what I like to call a captivating talk. It's like a version of a TED Talk that will be filmed in a professional live studio experience with 14 of your other people, because I only have room for 15 folks, where we will dive deeper into all of those things. So you'll come and experience the live virtual experience live, but in person with me. And you will get 8 weeks coaching leading up to this to really get this all dialed in. So now we're talking about getting clear on who your who is, unlocking your boldacious brilliance and your zone of genius. Telling your story with soul will actually help you spend the time to craft the stories, and you'll share those stories with me and we'll perfect them so that when we meet in person live, you will film it with professional cameras and a professional experience. So now you leave with a 5-minute videotaped, edited, branded to you a video that you can now use to share with any place you want to on your YouTube channel, on your social media channels, on your website. Use it as a way to get you speaking engagements. Use it as a way to pitch your products, goods, and services. We'll also dive into what to create to make this happen. And the genius of this is we're going to spend time actually diving into your zone of genius and pulling out for you the chapters of your book, the talk titles you should have, the or can have, the content that you want to put out into the world. And I've got room for 15 people. And by the way, at this investment of $24.97, the bonus I didn't tell y'all about is hotel is included. What? Transportation from the hotel to the venue is included, and your food too. All I need you to do is get to Raleigh-Durham Airport. Get to RDU, and meet me in studio for day one, which is the virtual experience, which everyone is invited to. And then day two will be the implementation, me and you, making sure your blouse looks good, fluffing your hair, saying, put on some more lip gloss, and let's shoot this message with the world. Let's shoot this message and get it out to the world. I have 15 spots for this, and this is $24.97. We do have a two pay. And let me just put in the chat what the link is to that. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Team EJJ Virtual, making this happen. And that experience is the VIP version. Like I said, I only have room for 15 people. So what these two experiences that I've just now offered side by side is there's a virtual version where you'll spend one day with me live and get everything dialed in, get your content, like I said, there's a magic thing I'm going to do that if you want to write a book, your chapters are going to be there. If you want to become a speaker or better speaker or have more talks, like I'm running out of things to talk about. No, you're not with the work that we're going to do. I'm going to pull it out with you. It's a done with you experience. And then on the second day, those 15 of you, we will implement this, put this in our bodies and actually film it. And you'll get a beautiful video that edited video branded to you that you'll be able to put out to the world. But you will have spent 8 weeks with me in live coaching. Plus, of course, I like to do one-on-one. You get a bonus one-on-one, so I can really help you dial it in. Let's make it happen. The thing about this, the reason why I wanted to do this before this year is over, is 2025 is on its way. And I know that we want to start at the top of the year in momentum. I'm not interested in the new year, new you conversation. I'm not. New year, new you. No, you get to start right now. You know how Debbie Allen says, you want fame? Well, right here is where you start paying. Right here, the nuggets that you put in place, the work that you do, everything that you put in place right now prepares you for that moment. You don't have to wait till the new year comes. Because we're meeting November 14th and 15th, and like I said, 14th is the live virtual. If you say yes to that piece, that's $197. The VIP is $24.97, and you get both the virtual and the live and the coaching and the implementation. That means that you start off the new year powerfully because it's coming. So do we have any questions? I'm going to just let that sit there. Of course, we have 2 more days, actually 3 more days together. And I'll talk you through this a little bit more and leave room for more questions. Still, this is, I wanted to put some how do I want to say some content out in the world, some value out in the world based on my 40 years of doing this. I know that I became who I have become so far, and I'm still ever growing and transforming. 40 years of time in this business of understanding the power of story, and then figuring out that my jam must be feels connected to me, feels like I've been put on this earth to help other people tell their story. There's something that you get when you get to share your gifts in that way. You get to feel in perfect alignment, alignment with the assignment, as I like to say. And if you are ready to really get fully in alignment with your assignment, and if you'd like to go a little bit faster, I can get you there faster. We can get there together faster. Nothing better than I love than hearing people's stories and then helping you craft them in a way that connects to the people that you're meant to resonate with and meant to, as I say, put that ripple in the pond. This is how you do it. So there's 2 opportunities for you. We'll talk about it more in the coming days. Please do go to the Facebook group, the Boldacious Boot Camp. Let me find the little link that shares that. Hold, please. Oh, I turned that off. What did I do? Go to the Bold, where's the page? Oh, the Boldacious Boot Camp. Oh, thank you. Go to the Boldacious Boot Camp and put your aha, your oh snap, your transformational moment. Share with others how this experience has been for you so far, and we're just getting started. This is just day 3. I got 3 more days left. And if you have any questions about the experience I've shared with you, let me know, put it in the comments. And we meet again tomorrow. Your Boldacious life is waiting for you to step in powerfully. It's already been placed in you. Might as well go ahead and claim it. That's what it really is. You don't have to do anything other than go, I claim it. Mine, 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 mine. It's yours, yours, yours. And you belong to all of us. You're ours, ours, ours. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I will see you tomorrow. For my VIPs, bio break. And then I'll see you in about 5 minutes on the Zoom call. Thank you. It's been my honor, my privilege to spend time with you all. See you all same time, same bat place. You have to be old enough to know what that means. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Off you go. Bye.